You've been trying everything. Vision boards, affirmations, scripting, journaling. You've read all the books, watched all the videos, followed every technique to the letter. Yet somehow that dream job remains elusive. That relationship still hasn't shown up, and that financial breakthrough feels like it's happening for everyone except you. There's something happening beneath the surface of your manifestation practice that most people never discover. Something so fundamental that once you understand it, everything clicks into place. The reason your manifestations aren't working isn't because you're doing something wrong. It's because you're missing the invisible foundation that makes everything else work. Right now, as you're listening to these words, your subconscious mind is running programs that were installed decades ago. Programs that are quietly sabotaging every intention you set, every visualization you create, every affirmation you repeat. And until you address this deeper layer, you'll keep experiencing that frustrating cycle of hope, effort, and disappointment. But here's what's about to change everything. There's a specific frequency mismatch happening in your energy field that's creating resistance to your desires. Once you understand how to identify and shift this frequency, manifestation stops being a struggle and starts being a natural flow. The universe isn't withholding your desires from you. Your desires are already flowing toward you right now. But there's an invisible barrier, an energetic dam, that's blocking the natural flow of abundance, love, and opportunity into your life. And I'm about to show you exactly how to remove that dam. The truth is, manifestation isn't about forcing the universe to give you what you want. It's about removing the blocks that prevent you from receiving what's already yours. And these blocks aren't where you think they are. You see, most people approach manifestation from the mind, thinking their way into their desires, visualizing outcomes, repeating affirmations. But manifestation doesn't happen in the mind. It happens in the nervous system. It happens in the body. It happens in the spaces between your thoughts, in the quiet moments when your guard is down and your authentic frequency can finally be felt by the universe. If you're feeling like this message arrived at exactly the right moment, if there's something stirring in you as you listen to these words, then you're ready to subscribe to this channel. The universe might be using this space to deliver the missing pieces you've been searching for. Hit that subscribe button now, because what I'm about to share goes deeper than anything you've heard before. Your manifestation failures aren't random. They follow a predictable pattern, and once you see this pattern clearly, you can break free from it forever. Most people spend years cycling through the same manifestation blocks without ever realizing they're stuck in what I call the effort trap. The effort trap is the belief that the harder you try to manifest something, the faster it will come. So you visualize harder, affirm longer, journal more frequently. You add more techniques, more rituals, more structured practices. But what actually happens is that all this effort creates a vibration of lack and desperation. The more effort you put in, the more you're telling the universe, I don't have this thing I want, and I'm struggling to get it. True manifestation operates on a completely different principle. It operates on the principle of magnetic resonance. Just like a tuning fork will cause another tuning fork of the same frequency to vibrate, your internal frequency attracts experiences that match that same vibration. But here's the key. Your frequency isn't determined by your thoughts. Your frequency is determined by your nervous system state of regulation. When your nervous system is dysregulated, when you're operating from stress, anxiety, fear, or survival mode, you're broadcasting a frequency of scarcity no matter what positive thoughts you're thinking. Your body is sending out distress signals that say, I'm not safe, I don't have enough, something is wrong. And the universe responds to these signals by sending you experiences that match this vibration of lack and struggle. This is why people who seem to manifest effortlessly aren't necessarily thinking different thoughts than you. They're not using different techniques or having more positive visualizations. They're operating from a regulated nervous system. Their body feels safe, abundant, and worthy at a cellular level. So they naturally attract experiences that match this felt sense of well-being. But here's what nobody talks about. Most of us learn to dysregulate our nervous systems in childhood. We develop survival strategies that helped us navigate unpredictable or challenging environments. Maybe you learned to be hypervigilant, always scanning for danger. Maybe you learned to people please, constantly monitoring others' emotions to keep yourself safe. Maybe you learned to achieve and perform, believing your worth was tied to your accomplishments. These strategies worked when you were young. They helped you survive. But now, as an adult trying to manifest your desires, these same survival patterns are running in the background, broadcasting frequencies of fear, inadequacy, and scarcity. Your nervous system is stuck in patterns that were designed for survival, not for thriving. And until you shift these patterns, your manifestation practice will keep hitting the same invisible walls. The first sign you're operating from dysregulation is that manifestation feels hard. It feels like work. You have to force yourself to visualize, to affirm, to believe. There's effort involved in maintaining your positive thoughts because underneath, your body is radiating a completely different message. When your nervous system is regulated, manifestation feels natural. Desires arise organically. You find yourself naturally thinking about what you want in ways that feel good. Opportunities seem to appear without you forcing them. People say yes to your requests. Resources flow more easily. This isn't magical thinking. It's the natural result of your body broadcasting a frequency of safety and abundance. But there's something even more profound happening that most people never realize. Your nervous system doesn't just affect your vibration. It affects your perception. When you're dysregulated, you literally cannot see the opportunities that are right in front of you. Your survival brain is so focused on scanning for threats that it filters out anything that doesn't fit its narrow definition of safety. This is why two people can walk through the exact same situation and have completely different experiences. One person notices the friendly stranger, the perfect parking spot, the unexpected opportunity. The other person notices the traffic, the rudeness, the obstacles. Same situation, different nervous system states, completely different realities. Your perception is your reality, and your perception is shaped by your nervous system state of regulation. When you shift your nervous system into regulation, you don't just change how you feel. You change what you can see, what you can receive, what becomes available to you. And there's something crucial you need to understand about nervous system regulation. It's not something you can think your way into. You can't affirm yourself into feeling safe. You can't visualize yourself into regulation. Regulation happens through the body, through breath, through movement, through connection, through practices that communicate safety to your nervous system at a cellular level. Most manifestation teachings completely skip this foundational layer. They go straight to the mind. Change your thoughts, change your beliefs, change your visualizations. But the mind is just the tip of the iceberg. Underneath the mind is the nervous system, and underneath the nervous system are the stored patterns and memories that keep you locked in survival mode. If this is resonating with something you've been sensing but couldn't quite name, if you're feeling like these words are unlocking something inside you, then this is your sign to subscribe. This channel is becoming a portal for the deeper truths about manifestation that most people never encounter. Subscribe now, because we're going much deeper than the surface-level teachings you've heard before. There's another layer to this that's absolutely crucial to understand. Most people think manifestation is about getting what you want. But true manifestation is about becoming who you're meant to be. And this requires a fundamental shift in how you relate to desire itself. In our culture, we're taught to relate to desire from a place of lack. We want something because we don't have it. We desire something because we feel incomplete without it. This creates what I call grasping energy, a vibration that actually repels what we want because it's rooted in the belief that we're separate from our desires. But there's another way to relate to desire. Indigenous wisdom traditions understand desire as a sacred communication from the soul. Your desires aren't random wants. They're intelligent information about who you're becoming, about the gifts you're meant to bring to the world, about the experiences that will help you grow and serve. When you shift your relationship with desire from grasping to listening, everything changes. Instead of trying to force your desires to manifest, you start cooperating with them. You start asking, what is this desire trying to teach me? How is it inviting me to grow? What qualities do I need to develop to become someone who naturally experiences this? This shift moves you from a paradigm of taking to a paradigm of becoming. And when you're focused on becoming, the having happens naturally. You become someone who naturally attracts loving relationships, abundant opportunities, creative flow, whatever it is you've been trying to manifest. But here's where it gets really interesting. Your soul's desires aren't always aligned with your ego's desires. Sometimes what you think you want isn't actually what your soul is calling for. And this misalignment creates internal conflict that shows up as manifestation blocks. Your ego might want a specific job title, but your soul might be calling you toward entrepreneurship. Your ego might want a relationship with a particular person, but your soul might be calling you toward healing your patterns around love first. Your ego might want more money, but your soul might be calling you to examine your relationship with worthiness and value. This isn't about right or wrong. It's about alignment. When your conscious desires are aligned with your soul's deeper calling, manifestation flows. When they're not aligned, you experience resistance, blocks, and frustration. The question isn't, how can I make this thing happen? The question is, am I listening to my soul's deeper calling, or am I trying to satisfy my ego's surface desires? And this listening requires a level of stillness and sensitivity that most people never develop. In our fast-paced, achievement-oriented culture, we've lost touch with the subtle intelligence of the soul. We've forgotten how to listen to the whispers before they become shouts. We've forgotten how to feel the gentle guidance that's always available when we slow down enough to receive it. Your soul speaks through your body. It speaks through synchronicities. It speaks through dreams, through intuitive hits, through sudden knowings that arise when you're not trying to figure anything out. But if you're constantly doing, constantly thinking, planning, efforting, trying, you can't hear these subtle communications. This is why manifestation often requires what seems like paradox. You have to stop trying so hard to get what you want in order to receive what you want. You have to become more interested in who you're becoming than in what you're getting. You have to trust the intelligence of your desires, even when they're leading you in directions that don't make logical sense. But there's something even more profound than aligning with your soul's desires. There's the recognition that you are not separate from what you desire. This isn't New Age philosophy. This is quantum physics. At the deepest level, there is no separation between you and anything in the universe. The boundaries between self and other, between you and your desires, are conceptual constructs that don't exist at the fundamental level of reality. When you really understand this, not intellectually, but experientially, manifestation stops being about getting something you don't have and starts being about recognizing what's already present. Your desires exist in the quantum field. They exist as potential, waiting to collapse into physical reality through the power of your observation and alignment. But here's the key. The quantum field responds to your state of being, not your state of wanting. When you're in a state of lack, of need, of trying to get something, you're observing from separation. You're collapsing potentials that match that separated state. More lack, more need, more trying. When you're in a state of wholeness, of gratitude, of already being complete, you're observing from unity. You're collapsing potentials that match that unified state, abundance, love, flow, whatever matches your frequency of wholeness. This is why gratitude is so powerful for manifestation. Not because you're being polite to the universe, but because gratitude is the frequency of already having. When you're genuinely grateful, you're not separate from what you're grateful for. You're in unity with it. And from that state of unity, more experiences that match that frequency naturally arise. But most people practice gratitude as a technique rather than as a state of being. They think grateful thoughts while their body is still broadcasting frequencies of lack and fear. True gratitude happens when your entire system, mind, body, and spirit, is aligned in appreciation for what already is. There's another crucial element that most manifestation teachings completely miss: the role of service. Your desires aren't just about you. They're about how you're meant to serve the world. The universe is always seeking to express itself through you in unique ways, and your desires are often information about how you're meant to contribute to the greater whole. When your manifestation practice is purely self-focused, it creates energetic stagnation. You're trying to draw everything toward yourself without considering how you're meant to give back. But when you include service in your manifestation practice, you tap into the universe's natural flow of circulation. This doesn't mean you have to sacrifice yourself or give everything away. It means recognizing that your personal fulfillment and your service to others aren't separate. The more you become who you're truly meant to be, the more you naturally serve. The more you serve from authenticity, the more the universe supports your personal desires. Your desires are often information about the gifts you're meant to develop and share. If you desire financial abundance, perhaps you're meant to learn how to create value in the world and teach others how to do the same. If you desire a loving relationship, perhaps you're meant to embody love, so fully that you inspire others to heal their own hearts. If you desire creative success, perhaps you're meant to create art that uplifts and transforms others. When you frame your desires in terms of service, they gain power and purpose. Instead of feeling selfish or greedy for wanting what you want, you begin to see your desires as sacred assignments from the universe. This shift in perspective changes everything about how you approach manifestation. If you've been feeling like something is shifting inside you as you listen to these words, if you're sensing that there's a deeper way to understand manifestation than you've ever encountered before, then leave a comment below and tell me. What desire have you been trying to force that might actually be calling you toward a deeper transformation? Your story could be exactly what another person needs to hear to break through their own manifestation blocks. There's one more layer that's absolutely essential to understand, and this is where most people get completely stuck. Your subconscious mind is running programs that were installed long before you ever heard about manifestation. These programs are based on conclusions you drew about reality when you were very young, and they're operating automatically, beneath the level of conscious awareness. If you grew up in a family where money was scarce, your subconscious concluded that resources are limited and you have to struggle to survive. If you grew up with parents who were unhappily married, your subconscious concluded that love equals pain or that relationships are unsafe. If you grew up being criticized or neglected, your subconscious concluded that you're not worthy of good things. These subconscious programs are running 24/7, creating your reality automatically. They're much more powerful than your conscious thoughts because they're backed by years of emotional reinforcement, and they operate below the level of awareness where you can examine them. This is why you can think positive thoughts all day long and still attract negative experiences. Your conscious mind might be saying, "I am worthy of love." But if your subconscious is running the program "Love is dangerous," your subconscious will win every time. It will sabotage relationships, push people away, or attract partners who confirm your deepest fears about love. The key to changing these programs isn't through more positive thinking. It's through what neuroscientists call memory reconsolidation. This happens when you access the original memory where the limiting belief was formed and then have a corrective emotional experience that updates the memory. But here's what's fascinating. You don't have to consciously remember the original experience. Your body remembers everything. The memories are stored in your nervous system, in your cellular structure, in the patterns of tension and contraction you carry. And when you work directly with the body, you can access and update these memories without having to mentally revisit trauma. This is why somatic practices are so powerful for manifestation. When you learn to track sensation in your body, to breathe into areas of tension, to move in ways that discharge stuck energy, you're literally rewiring the programs that create your reality. Your body holds the keys to your manifestation blocks. That tight feeling in your chest when you think about asking for a raise, that's a program running. The way your stomach clenches when you imagine putting yourself out there romantically, that's information about what your system believes about love and worthiness. Instead of trying to override these sensations with positive thoughts, what if you got curious about them? What if you breathed into them, moved with them, let them teach you something about the beliefs that are running your life? Most people are afraid of their difficult emotions and sensations because they think they mean something is wrong. But these sensations are actually your allies. They're showing you exactly where your manifestation blocks are located so you can work with them directly. When you learn to be present with your body's intelligence, when you stop trying to fix or change what you're feeling and start listening to what it's trying to communicate, profound healing becomes possible. The blocks that seemed permanent start to soften. The patterns that felt unchangeable begin to shift. And your natural manifestation abilities start to come online. But there's an even deeper layer than the subconscious programs. There's what indigenous traditions call ancestral patterns and what modern science calls epigenetic inheritance. The patterns that limit your manifestation abilities aren't just from your own life experiences. They're inherited from generations of ancestors who faced their own survival challenges. Your great-great-grandmother who lived through a famine might have passed down cellular memories of scarcity that affect how you relate to abundance today. Your grandfather who survived a war might have transmitted patterns of hypervigilance that make it hard for you to relax into receiving. These ancestral patterns live in your DNA, in your cellular memory, affecting your manifestation abilities in ways you've never considered. This isn't about blame or victimhood. It's about understanding that healing your manifestation blocks is actually a form of ancestral healing. When you break free from the patterns of lack, fear, and limitation that have been passed down through your lineage, you're not just changing your own life, you're changing the trajectory for future generations. Many spiritual traditions understand that we come into this life not just to fulfill our own desires, but to heal the wounds and complete the incomplete stories of our ancestors. Your struggles with manifestation might actually be opportunities to transform patterns that have been running in your family line for generations. When you approach your manifestation blocks from this perspective, they stop feeling like personal failures and start feeling like sacred assignments. You're not broken or doing something wrong. You're participating in a larger healing that extends far beyond your individual life. This understanding brings a completely different energy to the work. Instead of trying to fix yourself so you can get what you want, you're engaging in healing work that serves something much larger than your personal desires. This shift in purpose gives your manifestation practice depth and meaning that sustains you through the inevitable challenges of growth. And here's something beautiful that happens when you understand manifestation as ancestral healing. You start to receive support from sources you never expected. Ancestors who have done their own healing work in the spirit realm begin to assist you. Synchronicities increase. Opportunities appear in ways that feel like miraculous timing. You start to feel held by forces much larger than your individual will. Your desires aren't just personal wants. They're part of a larger evolutionary impulse that's trying to express itself through you. The universe is always seeking to know itself in new ways, to experience new possibilities, to evolve into greater complexity and beauty. Your desires are often information about how the universe wants to evolve through your unique expression. When you align with this evolutionary impulse, manifestation stops being about getting something for yourself and starts being about allowing the universe to experience itself through you in new ways. This is the deepest level of manifestation, not personal acquisition, but cosmic participation. From this perspective, your failures to manifest take on completely different meaning. They're not evidence that something is wrong with you or that the process doesn't work. They're information about what needs to be healed, what patterns need to be transformed, what parts of yourself need integration before you can hold the frequency of what you desire. Sometimes what feels like a manifestation failure is actually a redirection towards something even better than what you originally wanted. Sometimes it's a delay that allows you to develop the capacities you'll need to handle what's coming. Sometimes it's protection from something that would have ultimately caused suffering. The universe has a bigger picture than your conscious mind can perceive. What looks like rejection might be protection. What feels like delay might be perfect timing. What seems like failure might be preparation for something beyond what you could have imagined. This requires a level of trust that goes beyond the mind's need to control outcomes. It requires faith and intelligence that's larger than your personal understanding. It requires surrendering your attachment to how things should unfold while staying connected to your authentic desires. This surrender isn't passive resignation. It's active collaboration with forces that see possibilities you can't yet perceive. It's saying yes to your desires while holding them lightly, knowing that the universe might have even better plans for how they unfold in your life. The deepest secret of manifestation is this: you are not manifesting from emptiness into fullness. You are already whole, already complete, already connected to everything you desire at the deepest level of reality. Manifestation is the process of remembering this truth and allowing it to express itself in physical form. Every desire you've ever had is already present in the quantum field of infinite possibility. It exists as potential, waiting for you to align with it vibrationally so it can collapse into your physical reality. Your job isn't to create what you want. Your job is to become a vibrational match for what already exists. This remembering happens not through effort, but through relaxation. Not through forcing, but through allowing. Not through trying to get something you don't have, but through recognizing what you've always been. And in that recognition, in that remembering, manifestation becomes as natural as breathing. Because you're not trying to get something external, you're allowing your own fullness to express itself in form. You're not reaching for something outside yourself. You're allowing what's already within you to emerge and be seen. This is the invitation. This is the portal. This is the transformation that changes everything. Not just about manifestation, but about your entire relationship with reality. You are not separate from what you desire. You never have been. You never could be. And the moment you remember this truth in your bones, in your cells, in your nervous system, everything shifts. The manifestations you've been trying so hard to create start flowing naturally because they're no longer about getting something you lack. They're about expressing who you truly are. And who you truly are is already perfect, already whole, already connected to everything you could ever want or need. The journey isn't about becoming someone worthy of your desires. The journey is about remembering that you already are.